Next, we're going to be working on the mouth in your photograph. So again, you're going to need to take a look at it. You want to go ahead, break down the boxes where the mouth is into four smaller squares, making a line halfway down horizontally and halfway across vertically. So I'm working in boxes 18, 19, 23, and 24. Next, I'm going to start to mark how far. So this is in the bottom box of 18, the bottom right-hand box, and it's about halfway up. That line is the middle of my mouth. It stays about the same, about halfway across. As we get between the bottom left and bottom right-hand box, it's about a fourth of the way from the bottom. We cross into box 23, cross into box 24 at about a third of the way down, and we continue to add those pieces where it crosses. Again, I'm using my finger to mark where it needs to go, and then I'm drawing that same dot, that same space on the photograph. I am going to move it just a little bit closer to the Elmo, and you can start to see those dots starting to show up. It's a little hard to see when I have it on the table. Next, for drawing a mouth, you're going to be looking for a few different parts. The first is above the top lip. You have a V shape, and then it's kind of like hills in a mountain or like an M, and you're going to curve back down towards the outer edges of your mouth. Then for the center of your mouth, you're going to start to make that same curve that you made at the very top because it mimics that shape, and then you're going to curve it back opposite out towards the corners of the mouth again. And then when we add that bottom lip, the bottom lip is a little bit wider from top to bottom than the top lip typically. But again, look at your photograph, and then you're going to connect those points. Now there's a few variations you might see in your picture. One variation is your head might be turned. So you might have an area where one side is shorter and one side is longer. You're going to be working with the same exact shapes, only it's going to be longer on one side and shorter on the other side. So again, I'm going to hold this a little bit closer, and you can see how it's longer on one side, shorter on the other. Sometimes this edge, depending how far turned you are, it almost looks like a number 3 or a backwards number 3, and I'm going to erase here to show that difference from the first example. And sometimes it almost even starts to look like a heart shape if you're turned completely profile, where your head is turned sideways. You might see a profile view, and you might see almost like a sideways heart. You can see if I turn this vertical, it looks like a heart split in half. Turn it sideways, it looks like a pair of lips. One more option that you might see is a mouth that is open, that we see teeth. So you're going to start out the same way, drawing the top lip. I would also add the bottom lip in, and you're going to need to draw the inside edge of that bottom lip then. And once you have that in, you're going to look carefully. Where are your teeth? How many teeth do you see? And you're going to start to mark the spacing for those teeth. Once you have it marked, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to start to draw the edges of the teeth in. You want to make sure that you're drawing lightly because they are teeth, and they typically are a white color overall. And you're going to start to place each one of your teeth into that piece. Be careful. Do not draw your teeth like a rectangle. Your teeth are not just rectangular shape. They're connected by your gums that we see, and we want to make sure that we curve at the top at least just a little bit. It almost looks like the letter Y here, where we bring it up towards your top lip. So again, I'm taking my time. I'm looking at my photograph. The left side of my mouth is a little bit smaller than the right side, and I'm starting to draw using my guidelines that I created myself, and I'm starting to add the outside edge of my lips, and then also the interior line where my two lips meet. I'm going to add that as well. And I do have a little bit of a space that's a little bit darker, so I'm going to give myself an indication of that so I can continue.